Jimmy Kimmel's voice trembled last night. The studio lights seemed softer, the laughter quieter. He looked straight into the camera and said words no one on his team ever wanted to hear, that his lifelong friend and bandleader Cleto Escobedo III was gone. But who was the man behind that saxophone? The one who made late-night TV feel like home. Long before the bright lights of Hollywood, there were two kids in Las Vegas who couldn't stop laughing. Jimmy Kimmel and Cleto Escobedo III were just 9 years old, restless, curious, and already inseparable. They'd spend afternoons watching comedy reruns, trading jokes, and pulling harmless pranks on their neighbors, ordering taxis to random houses, pretending to be grown-ups on the phone, and cracking up until their parents yelled for them to stop. But even then, something about Cleto stood out. When other kids dreamed about fame, he dreamed in rhythm. His father, a saxophonist, filled their home with jazz and soul, and Cleto soaked it all in. Every note became a memory, every laugh with Jimmy a promise that one day they'd make something special together. Neither of them could have imagined that decades later, those same childhood giggles would echo across America through Jimmy Kimmel Live, turning a friendship born on the streets of Las Vegas into one of late-night television's most enduring partnerships. Cleto's love for music only grew louder with time. By the time he reached the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, his saxophone wasn't just an instrument, it was his voice. He played wherever he could, smoky lounges, dim corners of the Strip, anywhere someone would listen. Crowds might have come for the lights and the noise, but they always left remembering the sound of Cleto's horn, smooth, soulful, and alive. Then came his big break. In 1990, a friend told him Paula Abdul was holding auditions for her world tour. Cleto showed up with nothing but his sax and his confidence, and within minutes he had the gig. That tour would change everything. He went from local shows to performing in packed arenas, from the Strip to the world stage. The music world quickly took notice. A deal with Virgin Records followed, then tours with Latin superstars like Luis Miguel and Marc Anthony. Each stage added something new, a different rhythm, a deeper groove, a sharper sense of what music could mean to people. But through all the fame, Cleto never lost that easy smile or the warmth that made him who he was. Because deep down he wasn't chasing celebrity, he was chasing connection, the same way he always had when he played for his dad back home. But fate had one more encore planned. When Jimmy Kimmel finally got his own late-night show, there was never a question in his mind about who should lead the band. ABC might have been skeptical, a childhood friend from Las Vegas, a saxophonist the executives had never even met, but Jimmy was sure. Trust me, he told them. You'll understand when you hear him play. To prove it, Kimmel brought the network brass to one of Cleto's live shows. Within minutes, the executives were hooked. The energy, the charisma, the way Cleto could make a room feel like family, it was everything television needed. The deal was sealed. From that moment on, Cleto and the Cletones became the heartbeat of Jimmy Kimmel Live. And then came the twist that made it even more special. Cleto's father, Cleto Escobedo Jr., joined the band too, a seasoned saxophonist himself. He'd once played in the lounges of Las Vegas, the same ones his son had grown up watching. Now, father and son stood side by side under studio lights, sharing jokes during commercial breaks and blending their sounds on national television. "I'm playing music with my son on a show with my other son," Cleto Sr. once said, laughing as he looked over at Jimmy. "If I screw up a couple of notes, Cleto won't fire me. There's not another duo like us." It wasn't just music anymore, it was family. Every night, the cameras captured something deeper than a performance. It was a bond stretching across generations. Friendship turned into legacy. The laughter, the music, the easy chemistry, it all made the show feel less like a talk show and more like home. When the news broke, Jimmy Kimmel's words said it all. On Instagram, he wrote, "Early this morning, we lost a great friend, father, son, musician, and man. To say that we are heartbroken is an understatement." You could feel the weight of every syllable, not just grief, but gratitude. Gratitude for decades of laughter, music, and memories that could never be replaced. For Jimmy, it wasn't just losing a band leader, it was losing the person who'd stood beside him through every high and low, from childhood pranks to primetime television. A friendship that began with two kids joking around in Las Vegas had turned into a bond that touched millions of viewers night after night. Cleto leaves behind his parents, Sylvia and Cleto Jr., his wife Lori, and his children, Cruz and Jesse. But more than that, he leaves behind a rhythm, one that will keep echoing through late-night television, through every laugh that filled the studio, through every melody that softened the silence. In one of his last interviews, Cleto said something that now feels prophetic. "There's only a handful of these gigs in this country, so I'm very fortunate to have one." He knew how rare his journey was, and maybe that's what made him special. He never took a single note, or a single moment, for granted, because for Cleto Escobedo III, music wasn't about fame, it was about friendship, it was about family. It was about showing up every night, sax in hand, to remind us that joy, real joy, is something you share. And even though the stage lights will dim, the sound of his laughter and his music will never fade. Maybe that's the true measure of success, not fame, not fortune, but the friends who turn work into family. Cleto Escobedo III wasn't just the man behind the music, he was the heartbeat behind the laughter, the quiet energy that made Jimmy Kimmel feel human. Every time that saxophone played, you could feel his soul in it, a reminder that the best parts of life aren't scripted, they're lived, shared, and remembered. And though the stage may go quiet, the legacy Cleto left behind will keep playing on in every note, every memory, and every friendship that stands the test of time.